Hello and welcome to Digital Discussions presented by Peaky Digital. I'm your host Adam, and thankfully for the first time ever I'm joined by another Adam. I'm joined by the Aussie Smoker. Welcome to the podcast, Adam. How are you?
G'day, it's nice to see you. I'm good, thanks.
So today's podcast is it's a fun one. We're going to talk a bit about the Aussie Smoker. For those that don't know, could you give us like a synopsis of what the Aussie Smoker is? This is almost like your elevator pitch.
Yeah, gotcha. So what we do is we cook big Aussie barbecues here in Cornwall. Predominantly it's weddings and those sort of things, so big numbers. Just about to launch our burger trailer. So the public can also come. If you don't get invited to a wedding, you get to, get to come along and just have a good time.
That's it.
Yeah, food is our vehicle to make people smile.
I like that catchline. That is good. So before the Aussie Smoker, we had a brief chat when we were setting up everything. It's funny that sometimes with the people that I've interviewed, their backgrounds don't really have that much to do with what they do right now in their business right now. So for those watching and listening, could you tell us a little bit more about your background and, you know, what led up to the Aussie Smoker?
Yeah, brilliant. So I am an Aussie. I'm from Perth. When I went to Careers Day when I was growing up, I met a chef because I wanted to be a chef, and he said, "Do you think you want to work when everybody else parties?"
Oh,
Yeah.
that is actually, I'd not thought about that.
And I turned me off being a chef. So I did all these other things. I've got a degree in exercise and health science. I've gone out and sold real estate, and all the time I kept coming back to food as my way of relaxing. And then moving here, so I married a girl from Falmouth, which is why I'm here.
Nice.
Went to B&Q it was about September, and asked to get some charcoal for the barbecue, and they said, there's only, the season for barbecue is about 4 to 8 weeks of the summertime.
And you must have been shocked.
Coming
from Western Australia, that must be the worst news.
For me, there's only one season of barbecue. That's
and it's all year round.
So I went, that's what I want to do. I want to cook barbecues here. Yeah. And cook all year round.
Yeah.
And we're absolutely flat out.
I was going to say the Cornish have taken to it as well, haven't they?
Bizarrely, they love more barbecue food than turkey, even though you only have it once a year at Christmas time.
It's crazy, actually, yeah. Considering, it would actually be interesting to get your thoughts on, the parallels between living in Cornwall and living in Perth. What are there similarities other than the fact that we don't barbecue all year round? Are there any, pretty good similarities?
Yeah, down here is phenomenal. There's so many beaches. The countryside's amazing. I mean, there's great cider here as well.
There is. That's the reason to come. That's the reason to stay, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, come for the beaches,
stay for the cider. That's the one.
And it's amazing. I mean, where I'm from in Perth, there is one really long beach, and that's pretty much Western Australia. So the wind comes in, it's come across the whole coast.
It's just unusable. Yeah.
Whereas here, if the winds come in, say on our side, we just 45 minutes we're on the other side, and it's beautiful on the beaches.
That is true. Yeah, we are spoiled for beaches, especially now. I suspect that you've lived here, you found the smaller ones that aren't necessarily being as busy or as packed out. So you have your beauty spots that you only know if you're in the area.
It definitely, and to be able to just walk through private fields on the public pathway is something that's very different as well.
Oh, is that not a thing in Western Australia, isn't it?
Not that I've known it. Maybe it is, but yeah.
It could be. Okay, so just as a few more for the whole let's get to know the Aussie Smoker. Some questions not necessarily to do with your growing up in Australia or being the Aussie Smoker. There's just quick questions on, are you a night owl or an early bird?
Oh, I'm an early bird.
Yeah.
When it comes to work.
Okay.
But I still like to party.
You like to party? I was going to say, you said, with your, you went away and got your degree, so you did all the partying, and now you're done partying.
No.
You're not done partying. Okay.
No, definitely not. Partying's part of life.
It's true. You got to have the ups and downs,
That's right, yeah.
As in party and then work.
And now I've got kids as well, so...
You got to really choose your time to party.
That's right.
Yeah. It's actually been an interesting one. What is your go-to takeaway?
Oh, that's...
Are you a huge fan of what you eat? Do you cook what you make for others at their weddings? Is that what you have regularly?
I eat it because I'm always tasty.
Yeah, of course.
My go-to takeaway is like really crispy fried chicken.
Not like a KFC then, but like
more like a Korean barbecue chicken.
I know what you mean.
Extra crunchy.
Yeah, that's interesting actually. Yeah, thinking about it, because I did a little research. I was like, how much I know about Western Australia is limited.
Yeah.
But I was like, apparently it's known for seafood.
It's known for seafood, and we're a melting pot of culture.
Yeah.
So everybody that's come from outside Australia they're like a master in what they cook.
Yeah.
So they're always competing.
Yeah.
So it's so international without having to go anywhere. I was
gonna say, yeah, your business is tailored around, like, you'd expect seafood from like your upbringing, wouldn't you? So it's a surprise that it's massive bits of like cow, pig. I say massive bits of chicken. That's a limited size that can be. Okay, yeah. Final quick question for this one is, what's your favorite film? And this is a really important one.
Elf.
Elf?
Yeah, I love Elf.
Wow.
It's
would you watch it all year round? Like you barbecue all year round?
No, but it's the most quoted movie that I do.
You think?
Yeah, for me anyway. It's just
you're a sucker for Will Ferrell. Is that what it is? Most Will Ferrell films. Is it Step Brothers as well? You like Step Brothers?
Yeah, I like all of them.
That's good. Okay, so we'll move on to the start of the Aussie Smoker and where the idea came from. So, considering your previous work in finance and real estate, you know, all that experience in the barbecuing, but I suppose barbecuing comes as second nature to you with how much you've done it in your upbringing. What was the reason for starting the Aussie Smoker? Was it because it was not being done, or is it because you missed a little bit of home?
It was actually something I started back in Perth.
Oh, was it?
So my way to relax was to cook barbecues for my mates. So I'd be doing a 70, 80-hour week and then spend another 13 hours cooking meat just so my mates would come around and we could have some beautiful barbecue and some beers. And then when I knew that we were coming and moving to Falmouth, I went, you know what, I could either stick in real estate and do all of this, or I could do something where I could create a business around food, set my own terms.
Do you find it's more fulfilling then? Not even close.
This is, it's more than a lifestyle. Like, this is just what my life is.
Yeah.
It's just cooking barbecues and providing smiles.
Yes, that is true. I do like that strap line. So we mentioned, we touched on you fell in love with a Falmouth girl. That's what drew you to Cornwall. So is there anything else other than that? Like, had you visited before? Is it the first time you came here was when you moved here? Is that what it is?
I thought that all of England was like you see in the movies. Where
was it London? Yeah,
exactly.
And Hugh Grant
and lots of stabbings and parkour, trying to get away from people. When I came down here, this is not England. England has done a bad job at promoting itself.
Some bad PR, really. That's what it is. Yeah, we really need to get on that. So thinking about, I looked at your website and did a bit of research across your socials. You've expanded with products, the Aussie Smoker line, which is a pretty cool thing. Like, I wasn't aware of this. I was obviously aware of the whole barbecuing and the events and that you did. And could you tell me a little bit more about, the process of starting your own line and then reaching out to, I assume, like, other businesses to try and get them to stock your product? How did that all work?
So when COVID hit, that was literally my first full year that was meant to happen. And overnight could not do any catering. So instead of just giving up, I went, I need to do something. I called my mate Jake from the Cornish larder, so he helps produce all of it. Let's take the chili jam. I barbecue every chili before it actually gets sent off to Jake. And then he does his magic to it. And it was a way of allowing people to still be able to do something with the food without it necessarily being catering, because we weren't allowed to do it. And it's now got to a point where people, I've created catering jars or catering tubs of it for other businesses to use in their products. But I've got...
So they've got a signature style now going out.
But I've got a fan base of guys for this chili jam, for instance, that eat so much of it, they buy it by the catering tub.
They must really like that.
They love it.
I do like a chili jam, so I think I'm gonna have to get some. So thinking about the pandemic, what was that like for you as a business? Because I think we've had a few people on where we've talked about the impact of COVID. Obviously, it meant that you stopped trading, but did it highlight almost the importance of looking at your social media? I've looked at your social media; it's quite quite a popular thing, and you get a lot of inquiries through there. Like, did the pandemic highlight the importance of that to you?
It was. I think social was important anyway.
Yeah.
But in the sense for me that I don't pay for it.
It's the best form of marketing.
It's the way that I can get out, but it's also a way that I can connect with my mates back in Australia.
Yeah.
It's a way that people that I've met traveling still stay in touch. I get inquiries from people across the world on issues they've got with their barbecuing.
Oh,
and
really?
It's incredible to be able to chat to someone in Germany going, oh, hey, why does my wood smoke too much? Which is an ironic thing.
Yeah.
And I can give them the answer.
Yeah. What is the answer, out of curiosity, if it's smoking too much?
Sometimes they haven't allowed the wood to warm up.
Okay.
So then it's actually
coming cold.
Wood.
Yeah.
Or the coals themselves are not hot enough
Gotcha.
when you put it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few, but
I was gonna say it could be an endless world, couldn't it?
But the pandemic showed me that if this is what I wanted to do,
Yeah.
I had to think of other ways than just one form of providing food.
Yeah, I think it is interesting that a lot of people start their businesses with sort of like one dimension, like one plan of attack. We're going to go this way and that's it. But it's the great thing about your avenue of business is there are so many different channels that you can go into.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you had someone from Germany ask you, for example, about, the coal smoking too much. Why is it smoking too much? Is that something that you'd look to try and build on in the future? Like become this, not necessarily a personality, but this like point of authority where people go, I have a question about my barbecue. Who do I know on social media that's got the answer?
That's a really good question. In short, no, because I'm more a barbecue enthusiast.
Yeah.
Than, let's say, barbecue guru.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of other incredible guys that are so good at what they do that I would rather pass that question on to them.
Yeah.
However, I focus on what I know, and if I can help people, that's what it is.
I was going to say you've also expanded, haven't you? You've taken on a new team member.
Got a new team member. He's absolutely brilliant.
Shout
out to Elliot.
Shout out Elliot. We could have had you here. We have not got 3 microphones, but we could have had you.
He's a big boy, big personality, big smiles.
So what's Elliot's role now?
Elliot's going to be the main guy in essentially bringing the food side, the production side forward.
Nice.
Allowing me to do more of this and expand into other areas and bring on a bigger team as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's obviously good news. Did you think when the pandemic struck and you couldn't do your catering, did you think you'd be expanding into a team member now and this would be where the business is going? Or did you think you'd be, carrying on for another maybe like 5 years and then it'd get to there?
I don't know if it necessarily was the pandemic that did it. It was, fortunately, we had very rapid growth. And within that growth, I realized that a lifestyle business I created to cook barbecues and be around my family, I ended up spending more time around other people's families.
Yeah, I see.
There was such a juxtaposition that it was then torn between the time and the money.
Yeah.
And for me, time with my family is essentially more important.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So I'd rather build it slower, get more people in, let everyone come along for this amazing journey. Yeah. The big goal that I've got now is that we all, it comes back to smiles. I want people to wake up and be like, you'd have to beep this one out, but yeah, I'm alive because they've got the opportunity of doing something they love, and the Aussie Smoker is the vehicle for them to do.
Yeah, you've almost like created a cult following for like a little mantra of life is like, because you've taken this opportunity with both hands and gone, I'm going to take control and actually do what I want to do, and run my business how I want to run it. You're inspiring others to do, to live how they want to live as well.
Yeah, fingers crossed. It's I've always had to be pigeonholed into a job. Because the job role is what the job role is. But because the business is still so new, what if somebody came to me and said, hey, this is what I want to be part of the Aussie Smoker. Yeah. But this is what I love doing. Yeah. So I've got the ability now to provide potentially an opportunity for that person to do that. Yeah. Because I don't have that strict roles just yet.
It's actually funny. That's the whole idea of, you know, working out what you're good at and what you like and bringing them together and making a job. And that's, would you say it's fair that's what you've done?
Yeah.
With the Aussie Smoker. Yeah. To go back to, you know, the Cornish and the Aussie Smoker, how has the reaction been of, like, since starting business, and like how have the Cornish adopted the Aussie Smoker way of life?
It was, I was, like I said, I was told it's never going to happen. Yeah. Essentially, you have 4 to 8 weeks of barbecues, which is a real exciting moment for me. Yeah. Because I knew in my heart that everybody loves barbecues. You love it in the summer because it's summertime, but who doesn't love a barbecue in the winter as long as they're not the one standing in the rain?
That is true, actually. That's probably the biggest drawback, isn't it?
So to now be able to be so booked up for Christmas in the middle, you know, in winter, doing Christmas functions for all these people, for corporates, for privates, and again, and the smiles they get around Christmas time having a barbecue. It's brilliant. Yeah. I
mean, like, the novelty will be, wow, we're having a barbecue at Christmas, but then once they've eaten the food, they're going, wow, we had a really good barbecue at Christmas. It'd be one of those. So, Adam, we've mentioned about the niche of Aussie Smoker in the Cornish community, especially. Actually, no. Before I get into that, have you tried a pasty?
Oh, mate,
what's your take on a pasty first? I can't believe it's taken me this long.
I absolutely love it.
They're so good.
My mates all take the mick out of me because I don't say it properly.
What'd you call it?
Pasty.
That's not far off. That's the Cornish way of saying it, to be fair.
Then. And when I first moved to Falmouth, I put on a stone from going on a pasty crawl, essentially. And we'd just go around the county just trying the best pasties.
And where did you land on?
Do you know what? I'm a sucker for pips.
Are you?
Yeah. Oh, really good.
Yeah, have you been to Philps in Hale?
Do you know what I have?
You didn't rate it?
It's not even in my top 3.
Is it not?
Sorry, Philps.
A Philps steak and cheese pasty.
Oh, he's gone the cheese as well.
It's unbelievable. It's so good. Anyway.
Well, just on the pasty. So for all our weddings, we actually use pips because...
Oh, do you? You were that big of a fan? Yeah.
That big of a fan. And now we actually have collaborated on the Aussie Smoker Outback pasty.
No way.
So it's only for weddings at the moment.
I was going to say, if that's not out yet, I need to go and try it.
But I didn't want to change. I didn't want it to be something like a chicken pasty or something where it looks like a pasty, but it's not. So it's their traditional steak, so it's still their recipe. And all that's happened is they marinate the meat overnight in our barbecue rub.
Nice.
So
you've tried it, I assume.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. Yeah. I was gonna say, you need to let me know when that's ready for me to go and try, because I need to. I love a pasty. So yeah, back to the actual section that I had planned. Finding your niche and building your brand. So talking about starting the Aussie Smoker, were there any like important principles that, you know, formed your business? Were there like 3 main core ideas that you stuck to when you were like started it, but also have carried through to now?
Mm-hmm. Brilliant. So when that chef said about partying and working, that has been a key aspect to what we do. Is if we're going to be cooking food, or if I'm going to be cooking food, or whoever comes in, is that we have to enjoy the cooking as much as having a party or being part of the party. So the style of barbecue, and really barbecues are about everyone coming together.
They are. Yeah.
So I invite, even at a wedding, if people want to ask us about what's going on or hang around a barbecue, I'm like, come on over. Yeah. You know, I also joke around when people ask how long certain things take to cook. I'm like, wow, after 6 beers, it doesn't matter.
It looks done to me. You're all good.
You know, but then when we do private barbecues, it's just about them having a great time, and we're just there as part of their experience.
It's quite interesting. You said that you started it after, because of the chef saying that would you rather party or cook. You've managed to take the cooking to the party and make it part of the party. So that's probably like, is that the key concept? Is it just to enjoy it?
It's about having fun.
Yeah.
And there's another key aspect of whatever, the part of the question you asked. But essentially, anybody that has anything to do with the Aussie Smoker has to have an incredible experience. So not just the people eating the food, but let's say let's say a bride and groom. So their experience has actually started from the moment somebody says, "Have you heard of the Aussie Smoker?"
Yeah.
Or they've gone on Google and they've gone onto the website.
Yeah.
So that whole journey is not just about the end product; it's about the whole journey. It's about the suppliers. Let's take Abbott's, who provide the hire of the plates and cutlery. It's making sure everyone at Abbott's is having a great time every time they deal with the Aussie Smoker. Yeah. It's a very holistic approach, but as long as everyone has a great time, again, like I said, food is just the vehicle.
I think it's one of those that it's fairly in line with, if you have a Cornish business, that's like half of the deal is that you are enjoying it and you've always had a positive experience. You find that the less than positive experiences in Cornwall are usually from chains or things that may not necessarily quite understand the Cornish way of life.
But it's a real core principle. Don't be sick. But
I think that's just the way to live, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is just the way.
But you'd be surprised, wouldn't you? Like, actually, no, you wouldn't be surprised. Everyone's had that experience with just someone just being completely miserable and ruining your experience. That's what it is.
That's a better way of saying it.
I was going to say, yeah. No, I know what you mean. I think those are really important core principles for someone starting a business in Cornwall, but actually as well as anywhere. I think what makes Cornwall so great and so hospitable is the fact that everyone is so friendly and everyone's always got time for you, haven't they? And like you said, that when you are barbecuing and someone goes, "How long is it going to take?" It's just that interaction. Like, we're not all robots and we have personalities, we have lives that, should reflect in our work as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, talking about building a brand with a niche like yours, are there any sort of early stage stumbling blocks that you came across when it came to it? Because starting a business isn't easy.
Yeah.
You're going to come across a few issues, especially like in a niche. If you're joining a field that's already got like a lot of research behind it and that, were there any?
Yeah. As much as I love people have been the stumbling blocks.
Interesting.
I've had people right at the offset steal ideas and their established businesses.
Yeah.
I've had people sell me things, and this is still happening at the moment.
Yeah.
But which is essentially they're broken items. Let's put it simply.
Yeah.
But they've been sold as non-broken.
Yeah.
So you get a couple of days down, a month down, it falls apart. And they're all things that really affect cash flow. Yeah. Which is, I think, the hardest part is managing, knowing that you can keep afloat.
The most important part of the business, really, isn't it? On the financial side of it, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's hard. It's tough to keep smiling, keep giving, when these things keep happening.
I think those around you, like your family and your friends, will recognise, because I'm sure you're reasonably open with like, "Oh, I've been sold a duff this," and like I'm fuming, but you're still gonna have to make the best of it, aren't you?
100%.
Because you can't just go, "Well, it's broken and I can't use that," and I'm couple grand out of pocket. Yeah, it's a business at the end of the day. That's just not feasible, is it?
No, you just go. It's not easy to just find the next couple of grand to make it work.
Yeah.
But what I do enjoy is going, well, it has happened. I've learned. I keep trying to learn, but then making it work. Yeah. And then able to make something work which really shouldn't have worked is just you
feel a bit of pride in it, don't you? Yeah. Like, if you'd like bought the thing at the value that it was probably worth, knowing that it'd be broken in 2 months' time, it'd be like, yeah, look at me, I bought it really cheap and I've really made it work. But like, there's a sense of pride that goes with, I've been dealt a duff hand here, but I've actually still made it work. So it's like a testament to yourself and doing it.
Well, I appreciate it. It's just something I guess I've learned through life and from my parents and life experiences.
Yeah. As we are a marketing agency, I'm going to have to ask you some marketing questions. When you started the Aussie Smoker, what was the marketing plan? How were you going to get the name out there? How are you going to get your services out there? What was the plan?
I'll tell you exactly what I did. I worked on what my minimum viable product, my MVP. So the minimum I could make a product, let's call it a burger. Yeah. and get it out to the public and still make money.
Yeah.
So the cheapest I could do it. So essentially, instead of paying for marketing, and I know you're the marketing agency, right? But essentially, I've got a product that if people eat it, then they talk about it. If I put an advert up, it may look good, but there's a lot of pretty burgers out there.
Yeah.
So went up to Chintz, had a chat to them, so they wanted to be on your quietest night.
Yeah.
So that was a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
And I pre-sold 40 burgers at £5 each.
Nice. Yeah.
So went there knowing that there was going to be no wastage at all.
Yeah.
It got to the point where people knew that they could get a really cheap
meal. The Aussie Smoker was going to be there. Yeah.
And that was how it was developing. By the end of it, Chintz had to put staff on, and it became a profitable night.
Yeah.
So it wasn't about me trying to use...
So Wednesday, they weren't drawn to the drinks. They were drawn to the food.
It was just a funny night on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
But then they drank the drinks.
Oh, well, yeah. And they need more food. That's just how it works. It's a wonderful cycle.
So it was just about... It was about knowing how to get out and making sure it was actually making money as a result.
Yeah.
I could then do it again.
So it's... Yeah, that's like your traditional word of mouth.
Yeah.
You know, word just gets round. And I've seen your Instagram and it's quite popular, and I touched on it before. How do you think it's now changed? Is it the Instagram is on you post regularly, and you post your products, you post your food, you know, you're even posting when your chili jam, you got cheese as well, haven't you?
Yes.
Yeah, cheese is Cornwall, isn't it?
Yeah.
And how has Instagram now changed that sort of thing?
It's I used to post my food.
Yeah.
And be making just lots of food, and people got to know and got to experience it that way. Now I feel that my Instagram needs to change a direction, which is what can I do to help enrich other people's lives? There's no point making them jealous of the food I'm eating. It's like come on down.
Yeah.
Come and try the food. This is how you make it. Get them involved, get the public involved in a way that's it's very reciprocal then.
Yeah, and I suppose it's working in your favor as well, because I scroll through the comments and you have people inquiring through there, but you also have people going, wow, this looks unbelievable, but they're also in different countries. So it's like they have food envy, but from hundreds of thousands of miles away.
I'm conscious that I don't mind making fun of myself as well.
I think that is like hugely important that you say that, as in, especially with a smaller business, the personality is huge.
Yeah.
So with yourself, would you say that you've tried to put your, maybe not necessarily your personality, but like, as you said, not take yourself too seriously?
So, I mean, our branding's got my face on it. And again, as soon as that came out, everyone went, "You're not Jamie Oliver." You're not. They even said, "You're not Uncle Ben." And they took the mick. But for me, it was about every time people open the fridge and there's my smiling face. I've got a beer in my hand on my material as well.
Yeah.
And that was from one of those nights at Chintz, right? And then I started getting photos of people, and there was the back of their husband or their wife or something, and they just be like, "He keeps staring at you in the fridge." Or I get messages going, "Oh, every time I wake up, and first thing I see is your face smiling back." And it's really nice to hear that.
I suspect it's quite a nice feeling.
And because again, it's not about me.
Yeah.
It's not about my face being there. It's about the smile and how they feel.
Yeah. Touching on, you said that like the mick was taken out of you when you put your face on it. When you started like a business, how did you deal with people going, "This is ridiculous"?
Oh, mate, I'm 40 this year.
Yeah. You don't care.
I don't really care.
No, I think it's important though, because I think a lot of small businesses when they start are a bit too scared to like consider what other people are thinking. So
I think it's important to be conscious of what they're thinking.
Yeah. Take it with a pinch of salt and a bit of rationale.
Do you know what? If I don't do it, the only person who it's affecting is me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's my life.
That's it.
I've only got one of them. And I've got a clear vision of where I want my life and my family's life and the people around us.
Yeah.
What it's going to look like. And it's not necessarily financial. It's more just, I keep bringing back the fun and smiles. Yeah. But if I can bring people on that journey, and you know what, just the conversation, even the conversation of, "You're not Uncle Ben," it's then the intrigue as to, hang on a sec, we're talking about the Aussie Smoker.
Yeah, and you've drawn Uncle Ben already into that conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, you said it, not me. It's one of those occasions.
Yeah.
We touched on it also earlier. I'm not going to say that. Let me start again because I keep saying touched. We spoke earlier about, before we started setting up the cameras, about your plans for the future of the Aussie Smoker and you wanting to collaborate with and, have these conversations with other Cornish businesses. Mm-hmm. How have you found the Cornish business community has, embraced you? Or on the flip side, how have you found embracing the Cornish community, the Cornish business community itself?
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's a great one. The Cornish community is fantastic. I think the food industry in particular, because everyone is very supportive. I think also because we always eat our own food.
Yeah.
So when we can go maybe do a trade or something, it helps break the ice.
Yeah.
It is good. I mean, you're going to find everywhere that some people are a bit more precious, and I think you gravitate to those that are nicer.
Yeah.
As well. I mean, actually, I can't remember the rest of your question. What was?
It's just, how have you embraced the Cornish business community?
I'm the Emmett, right?
Me too, don't worry.
So I had two choices. One was I embraced it or I didn't.
Yeah.
And I think going back to the pasty question, the fact that the pasties were so good and the beach,
I'm sold. I'm sold.
I just wanted to be part of it.
Yeah.
And there's just so much out here that people are doing, which is just incredible. So to be part of the whole scene is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a good feeling when you finally feel like, may not be Cornish blood, but you do feel part of the Cornish community, don't you? It's a good feeling.
There was so my wife's from here, obviously her sister's here as well.
Yeah.
So Sophie was over in Australia with me, and then when we came back, I was known as Rachel, who's her sister, Rachel's sister's husband.
Yeah.
And she's like, I've lost my identity. And I said to her, I was like, one day you'll be known as the Aussie Smoker's wife. And it just happened.
Is it?
Yeah. And even better, the sister got known as the Aussie Smoker's sister-in-law. I was like, yes, I'm the main guy.
It's happened. Here we go. Did you light a candle or something and do a bit of mourning for their former identities?
That was brilliant.
That is so good. Just a few bits on the future of the Aussie Smoker and as a business. I know it can be sometimes quite a difficult question, but you seem to have like a good idea of what your vision is for, like, say, the next 5 years, next 10 years. What is in store for the Aussie Smoker? Could we possibly see a physical restaurant, or is the fleet going to get bigger of various, you're going to buy a horse truck next and kit that out? That'd actually be quite cool.
It's so just bought a burger trailer.
Yeah.
So that will be, fingers crossed, a nice permanent site in Penryn. Nothing's just finalised on the pitch just yet, but the trailer's up and running, and so that's ready to go.
So it's coming soon. So for all those.
Weddings are full steam ahead. We're pretty much fully booked for weddings this year.
Yeah.
2024 is looking busy already.
So get in early if you want to.
Restaurant, I don't have a desire.
No.
I tell you why. I would rather go to someone else's restaurant at 6 o'clock than be there still working.
That's true.
And if I want that, then I'd want that for the staff as well.
Yeah, I suppose that goes against your mantra.
Yeah. However, really big picture.
Yeah.
And this is a big shout out to farmers or anyone with land or something local. Is I essentially want to make an Aussie Smoker tap room, but for barbecue food.
Yeah.
So
that'd be so cool.
You can come along and hang out. You can see where all the food gets made and produced for the weddings, for everything else, for where we ship across the country.
Yeah.
But it's family friendly. There's a playground there. Bring the kids there. It's somewhere you go all year round. And we just happen to do really good barbecue food. It's all about providing location.
Yeah. It's funny you should say that. I just came to mind. Have you ever done any sort of food festivals or any of that? Is that something you would do? Not interested?
Not interested. And for everyone that does it, and it works for them, is brilliant. I don't really like standing next to another store.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah,
and it's more so. This is from the research I did.
Yeah.
So let's take the pulled pork. Pulled pork takes 12 hours just to cook it, and that's not the prep before and the prep afterwards.
Yeah.
and then you get there on the day, and I have to sell that same food at the same price as, say, the mac and cheese guy.
Yeah.
Well, I've already spent 24 hours preparing it before even getting there.
Yeah, I suppose it's not feasible for everyone. Like, as you said, like a 12-hour cook.
Yeah.
A mac and cheese guy is, what, half an hour? An hour?
And the cost of it. So their profit margins are... Also, if I was at a festival...
Yeah.
I know I'd be getting mac and cheese and not barbecue food.
You're all right. Yeah. That is true. Well, that's great. I think this has been a really good chat about the Aussie Smoker and starting a Cornish business when you've drawn some similarities from your childhood and growing up in Australia. So I think it's been really good. I think what we'll do now is finish with some quick fire questions.
Right, rock and roll.
So, what is one common misconception people have about Australian food?
Australian food. I'm going to put it back to the Aussie Smoker.
Go for it.
Everyone thinks I just do meat, but we do a heap.
I thought you just did meat as well. There we go.
I didn't swear on that one. We do a heap of vegan barbecue food.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suspect that they're quite popular.
It is, but it's more popular with meat eaters.
Oh, is it? Because they're looking for the alternate. They're looking to try something new.
They're just there anyway, so I give it to them. It's a shame that the vegans aren't just coming along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another one is, if you could move the Aussie... Well, I say move. Get another Aussie Smoker location.
Yeah.
Not Cornwall, not Western Australia. Where would you take it?
Oh, that's a great one.
Oh, are you hitting the road in America? You're going to try and make it big in the big smoke?
Do you know, I'd love it to be, say, in Lisbon.
Nice.
Because I thought Lisbon,
the culture would be just
beautiful.
So it's a lovely place. I've never been, but it looks like a great place.
It's got it's lovely there, and they don't really do burgers, so
you'd be the only man there.
So.
Yeah, keep your eyes peeled for the Aussie Smoker in Lisbon. And the final one is, what is one cuisine that you'd love to expand into? If the Aussie Smoker, like as a hypothetical, I'm not saying this has to happen. Where would the Aussie Smoker go, and which cuisine would it go?
It would be Thai.
Thai food.
Oh, so fresh and fiery.
Even those massive like pans, the woks that they have.
Yeah,
that's good. Well, Adam, thank you so much for coming on to the podcast.
Adam,
I've really enjoyed
much.
this.
Yeah.
This has been great. Not many more Adam and Adam podcasts are coming, but I've really enjoyed it, and I hope you have too. We'd love to have you back at some point in the future. And I think all that's left to do is say goodbye to the watchers and the listeners and say thank you for listening. We'll see you on the next one.